All right, here we go. So, welcome, Thomas, to another Actors Talk with me, your host, actress Gabby Kennedy. And today I'm joined by the answer, Thomas Rankin. So, Thomas, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you
All
for
right,
having me. I appreciate it. Let me let,
absolutely.
let me come in and join the actors talk. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And you made it here. Now you're a part of the film festival. So,
Amen.
you may as well talk about it now.
Right, right. Well,
So, yeah. So,
yeah.
just a little excerpt about Thomas. Thomas Rankin Jr. is professionally known as The Answer. He's a versatile artist, producer, and a filmmaker who has a profound impact with music globally. Now, I want to get into talking about some of your music, but first, we are getting ready to watch you perform at the Orlando Urban Film Festival. That's
Right, right.
right. Right. And that's gonna be on Friday night. Is that Friday night or
It'll be Saturday night during
Saturday
the
night?
award ceremony.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And that'll be at Dr. Phillips. Now Thomas, tell me a little bit about what we can expect to see during your performance.
I'm excited. I think one thing about me when I perform, especially, and my music comes from just life for me. And so, and with this song in particular, lots of vulnerability. So, and I'm a very passionate person, whether I'm talking, whether I'm doing music, whether I'm doing film, whatever it is, I'm passionate. So I think you will see a lot of that. And my goal always is to just reach hearts. My wife said, "What's from the heart reaches the heart." And so as I'm looking to just penetrate in that areas, to reach the people, that's always my goal. And then artistically and creatively, just some passion, have some fun up there, and hopefully give you something that could visually be pleasing to you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's so well said. Just by the way that you explaining, I know that it's going to be a good performance.
Thank you.
I had the opportunity to watch your music video, "No
Okay.
Shame, I Got You," and immediately I was in. I was like, I want to talk to this guy. That was right up my alley. That inspiration. You have to go and watch that music video to see exactly what I'm talking about. But seeing the performance first is
Mm-hmm.
really going to bless you.
Yeah.
So
You
Thomas,
welcome
it's
that too, by
been,
the way.
yeah, absolutely. I mean that too. I mean that I resonated with that for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so Thomas, for you, it's been, a while. It's been about 10 years
Right.
since your last release of music. So what brought you back? Like what made you leave and what's sort of bringing you back into it now?
Gabby, what's interesting is that I never intentionally like stepped away or anything. We moved. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and we're
Okay.
here. We live in Atlanta now. We've been in Atlanta since 2015. Okay, and right before we left, I had just released my previous album entitled Pyro. And so, with the move going to a different state, um, it was just a lot in that. And 2 weeks after we moved, my mom passed. Okay, she was sick before we left, so I knew it was kind of coming closer to that time. But then she died, and we were also we have a blended family, and so we were having some internal family struggles as well. So the priority became taking care of my family. Like I said,
Yeah.
it wasn't intentional. I didn't make a decision like, man, I'm grieving my mother and struggling with, making sure that I'm doing my duty as a husband and as a father and, provider and all of those things. And, time was just rolling by. After that, my children, we have a very creative family. So we have 3 of our 4 children are professional actors. Okay. And I'll tell you a little bit about that later. So their career started to kick off. Okay. So now we're traveling regularly after a couple of years in, and I guess, the grieving and family providing process. And now I'm just kind of, my wife and I, we're focused on them. We want to make sure that they succeeded in their gifts and everything that they're doing. And so we're on the road for, years at a time doing movies and TV shows and commercials and just that whole process. And look up and all of a sudden it's like, man, where has the time gone? And I didn't even really realize it until our oldest son, Jamir, at the time, he asked me about it. And he said, well, Dad, why haven't you written? and you haven't done music, because my family knows, like, music has always been something that's been very dear to my heart. I mean, since I was young, and to be in a position now where we, have the capabilities, we have, studio and all of those things, and for me to not be in it daily as he was used to seeing growing up, or they were used to seeing growing up, that was a
Yeah.
little bit of a, for them, like, something must be going on with dad, because he hasn't been recording or anything. And like I said, it wasn't intentional, but when I thought about it, I was like, man, I didn't take time to really slow down and sow into me, because I was putting into everybody else. And although I had lost a mother, and I had lots of family members that, passed and ill and those things, and stuff with home and family, it was just about them. And I had kind of lost my passion for what I was doing creatively, because it just wasn't a priority. So Jamira said, I'm gonna learn to produce. He said, I'm gonna learn to produce music, and I'm gonna make something that's gonna make you want to write again. I thought it was profound. I thought he was just, at this time he was so much younger. So I just thought he was talking, and I thought it was a sweet gesture.
Yeah.
However, Jamir got in the studio, he learned how to produce music, and he started making music that was sounding good. And when I heard it, I started writing. And he literally brought my pen back to me, and from there
Shoo.
was the birth of my album, Unscripted.
Ooh, boy, you have to take a minute with that because
Yeah, yeah,
God works in mysterious ways. And
yeah,
that was one of those ways to bring back that inspiration right through your seed. You had planted that seed in him, and then he turned around and gave it back to you.
right, right.
That's dope. That's dope.
Such a blessing.
And yeah, I want to share too. We have a similar story. I was previously a model. I left Florida, moved to New York, and I modeled. And when my life changed, I had children, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to chase this dream and be away from my kids."
Mm,
1 week at a time, 1 day at a time,
yeah,
two weeks at a time. I
right.
just couldn't see it for myself. So I laid it down, and my children, my family, building my family became
Mm,
my passion. I
right.
didn't build a whole family brand like you did, but my children became my passion. So I put it aside, and then it just slowly started to come back around to me. I started just getting more back into what I wanted. Once I realized that my children they're doing okay. They love me. They're good for me. I realized that I was doing them a disservice by not being myself, by not chasing
Mm,
my dreams and
absolutely.
sewing into myself. So I
Right.
was like, this is not the way that it's supposed to be. And for so long, almost 10 years, I was telling myself, I can't do that. I can't be a mother and be a model or be an actress. I
Mm,
gotta just stick to this one thing. And
right.
that's kind of what I did for a while. It wasn't my husband, it was really just, something inside of me that was like, I can't do this. And so I didn't. So
You,
I didn't.
and you are. I mean, they're, because they watch, right? I mean, here it
Yeah.
is. I didn't know. But my son, he's seen me producing, he's seen his mother writing, and he's seen us ministering and performing and entertaining, all those things. And I wasn't, sure, I loved having them around, right? Like if I'm in the studio, if I'm creating or we doing those things, but we never wanted to force our gifts or our dreams on them. We wanted them to kind of figure out what they want to do, but the whole time they're watching. So even what you're doing now, you saying for you, as far as you say, I heard you say, well, didn't build a brand like that or what happened. They see what mama doing. They see that, they'll understand once they grow, and if Lord wills and it's the desires of their heart to have children in the family, how challenging that is. And to say,
Yeah.
wow, mom was taking care of us and she was doing her thing at the same time. I couldn't imagine how hard that was, but how much I admire her for pushing through. So salute
Yeah.
to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that too, because people need to hear that, we real people, we family people, and we're
Yeah,
still building our dreams and we're being successful at our dreams. I mean, the Orlando Urban Film Festival, like you're about to step out and perform a song that came from a deep place. And I want to know for you, what
mm,
inspired you to write No Shame, I Got You?
mm. So that song came from, okay, so we talk about this whole 10-year process, right? One of the things that I did throughout this, not the entire 10 years, but I'll say really intentional the last 5 or so years, was a lot of therapy work, right? Like my wife would continue to tell me like, hey, like some stuff we got to work on, right? So I had a father that was drug addicted. I have six sisters and two brothers, come from a large family, grew up in the streets of Cleveland, didn't really have a male role model, anybody to look up to or anything like that. So I pretty much looked to the streets. And so fast forward, now here I am, a father and a husband, and I don't really know how to be either. And, some days you wake up and, quickly triggered, and sometimes, angry, and I'm not knowing why. Why do I feel this way? And I didn't really have language for those emotions, because growing up as a young Black man, especially in Cleveland, you're really only allowed to have two emotions. It's either happy or angry. And if you're too happy, something must be wrong with you. And so what that turns into is the internalization of all of this rage. And it always comes out that way because I don't have the verbiage to say, well, I'm really hurt, or to say I might be scared, I might be anxious. And so for my children and my wife and my family, that wasn't good because I didn't know how to express it, right? And so here I am doing all this therapy work. And now, if you've ever done therapy, there's a lot of digging you have to do to uproot and pour those things out. So I was going into places I didn't even realize I needed to go into to heal. And so throughout that, I started realizing like, man, I can't imagine, as I'm looking at all of our men out here that are, constantly angry, or, we talk about the prison system, or we talk about broken homes and families and things like that. We don't have a language. We have no safe space, because even at home, we're supposed to be the shoulders to lean on.
Yeah.
And so we never had that vulnerability. So I said, I'm gonna tap into that place, because I know this is something that we're all dealing with, we're all feeling. And sometimes we just need one person to step out and say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, for me to feel free and to come out and say, man, I'm just struggling with that too. Thank you for speaking.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to be the voice, for that hurt and that
Yeah.
vulnerability.
Yeah, that's so good. When I saw that video, I was like, my thoughts were exactly what you were explaining. There's so many people, so
Mm,
many men that need this message, especially Black men. And
mm,
to see that you had your video, you had all Black people, as far as I remember,
yeah.
and it was a cast of grown men,
Mm,
fathers, husbands, and people need to see Black men in that light.
yeah.
And just your message, no shame, I got you.
Mm,
It's so deep, it's so big, and it's a movement that we can all definitely get
right.
behind. That movement for sure.
You know what? Another thing, Gabby, I definitely want to mention is even in that. So the purpose of that song and that I got you. First, we had the no shame, which I talked about, the vulnerability piece, right? But the I got you is for us to lift one another up. Sometimes we think to ourselves like, man, I can't. And I've said this a lot, and that's kind of where it comes from. It's like, man, I can't. I'm gonna lift you up, and I'm struggling myself. I need a life raft on my own. And what God was reminding me of is to bear one another's burdens. And your brother needs, y'all need each other. Think about when, in the song I talk about, holding your arms up, Moses and Aaron. It's like, okay, the only way we're gonna overcome this, you know, the arms have to be up, but I'm so tired and exhausted. I need my brother to hold my arms up. So me in that song is just saying like, man, I see what you're dealing with, what you're struggling with, and I'm gonna lift you up. I might not have a whole lot, but I'm
Yeah,
there. And when I'm down, I need somebody to lift me up. And if we can do that, then we can have something to build off of to keep each other where we need to be.
that's so. Do you have that village, that support, those people around you that got you?
You know what? Honestly, I'm so grateful. I tell my oldest two sons all the time. I do. I have a small circle of brothers that are real brothers who I can be. I don't have to be, I'm a licensed minister, musician, and all those things, right? And sometimes, even as a parent, wearing those hats, sometimes they get exhausting. Like I can't always be,
Yeah.
we always got to be, where do we get a release, right? And God has blessed me to really have some brothers who I can be myself with. I don't have to have on I need to, make sure that you're good today, face, because today I don't have it. And these brothers are strong. They're family men. God-fearing men and all the above, so I can trust and have a safe space that they got me and I got them, and I know that's something that's a rarity nowadays. And I was just telling one of my sons that I really feel that with this circle that I have, for those few, that if I had a need, I can trust these brothers with my family, and that's my family is my everything. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. I realize that that's a jewel to have and a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Thomas, your smile is contagious too. I watched a few of your videos on social media, and those uplifting moments and
Yeah,
that uplifting information and your smile, it really is contagious. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. Like
thank you, man.
that's where it's at for sure, being a world changer. And
Amen.
even though I'm an actress and a host, I still seek to be a world changer and to do my part, even with what I'm doing also.
You are.
So
You are.
I connect with you.
Thank you.
um, yeah, yeah. So I mean, doing what you do and doing it with your family is a
Yeah.
big flex.
Oh man.
So seriously, it's a flex. I flex like you to be a mother and doing what I'm doing, like I'm flexing in my
Right.
complexion.
Hey,
So
do that thing.
listen, tell me a little bit about some of the systems, because you mentioned your children are actors.
Right.
Your wife is also working with your production company. Tell me a little bit about some of the systems and the routines that you guys have set in place that make your family brand successful.
Yeah, and I don't even want to do her disservice. Like my wife, she's an author, she's a poet, she's an actress as well. She just released like 3 or 4 books recently. She already had 5. I can't even keep up with how many she has now.
Nice.
She wears so many hats. Amazing mother, as well. And so our family as a whole, God has really blessed us to um, be in an area, the entertainment industry in which we enjoy. And sometimes it gets really challenging, right? Because here it is, my wife and I, we act as the children's co-managers, and this is more sort of general managers because they have a talent manager and a talent agent. But that's just when it comes to bookings and things like that. So, but everything else, that's where we come in and arranging those things. So operating all of those schedules with everything that we have, and making sure they're still our children, right? Even though we want to do business as professionals and as the Bible says, do business as men and those types of
Yeah.
things. But and we're also parents, and we also have to cultivate them because not only are we parents and not only are they professionals and entertainers, but they're God's children also before they even are. So we have to make sure that even because this can be a vicious industry, right? Entertainment, acting, music, it can be vicious. So we have to make sure that we're cultivating them and that we are covering them in the way to not allow them to get sucked into it. And it can be hectic at times, but just from the scheduling alone, sometimes we've been in different countries. One of us is over here, and one of us is over there with the others. For the most part, God has graced us that we can travel together. But there has been those moments where it's like, hey, this one, and it's a good problem to have, right? Somebody booked a movie over here and somebody booked a TV show over there. And so we kind of coordinate, and a lot of times we'll switch back and forth. So, okay, well, you fly with this one, I'll fly with that one. Or you did it last time, I do it that time. And it can be a lot, right? Because even when you talk about, well, what about the things for yourself? And that's where we kind of got lost in that 10-year period as well. So we're just now kind of
Yeah.
back into that. Similarly with my wife and just doing her to think the desires of her heart as well. It could be a lot, but I'm grateful that we have each other to lean on, and that God has really blessed us with some really good children. Drive us crazy, at times, as what kids do. And parenting is, terrifying as well.
Yes.
But we really have good kids that make it a lot easier for us. So we're grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It sounds like you guys are doing a great job,
Thank you.
not only for your kids but for yourself as well.
To see them
Um,
doing what they love to do, though, that sometimes is mind blowing, right?
yeah.
Like we just came back. Our youngest son, Braylon, if anyone is familiar with the Lion King franchise, right? So Disney has a
Of
new movie
course.
All right. They have a new movie, a prequel, never before told, story regarding this huge franchise. The movie is entitled Mufasa, and it releases in theaters December 20th of
I've
this
heard
year.
of that. I've heard about
And
that.
so our youngest son, Braylon, he's young Mufasa. And so we just came back from this huge event in LA last week called D23. I didn't even know it was a thing, but apparently it's massive because when we get there, everybody you can think of is there that's ever been affiliated with Marvel, Disney, or anything. So it's this huge event. They released the film to an arena, full of fans screaming crazy, and he gets to have his time in that and to see that with people who I view growing up myself as legendary.
Yeah.
And we're all in the same room in the same arena, and we're doing it's just all I can do is say, Lord, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
God, you're so good to have not only us but our children in these spaces. We don't want to take for granted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about your other kids. Tell me about the Rankins.
Okay, so we have 4 children. We have Jamir. He's the oldest. Jamir is 21.
That's
He
that's that's the artist. That's who got you out of your bag. You're right.
Yeah, right. That's the one. Jamir. So he is an actor and a producer. So he has starred in ABC's reboot of The Wonder Years. You can find that it's on ABC, on Hulu, Disney Plus, I believe as well. And he's produced music for myself. He's produced music for Shaquille O'Neal. He's done projects with he's a lot of amazing things. So actor and producer Jamir, our oldest, is such a great, amazing young man as well.
Yeah.
That we have Tamarez. Tamarez is 20 years old, and he's the one who's not in front of the camera. He's actually in the military, and he's in school. He wants to direct. So
Nice.
he's the one of the 4 that's not an actor, but he still loves entertainment as well. So he's in school to learn directing. Then we have Braylon. Braylon is 17 years old. He's the one who I was just talking about, young Mufasa. Braylon is an actor and a singer. In fact, he will be singing. If you see the trailer for Mufasa, the voice you hear singing and speaking for the cub, that's our Braylon. He also has his own show on Peacock entitled Take Note, and a long list of other things that God's blessed him with from TV shows and film as well. And then we have our baby, our daughter, my only little girl, Brielle, who would be upset that I just said little girl. She's 16. Brielle is 16, and she's an actress and a singer. So you can catch her on HBO Max. She has a movie, 8-Bit Christmas, that actually she gets to play a twin to her brother Braylon in that film. And she also has a movie that I believe is supposed to come out this year. We're still waiting on the release date, but it is entitled Takeover. So that's happening. And then my wife, Brandy Wine Rankins, she things that she does, and she just released, I believe, 3 books that are. She's really into health, wellness, mental health as well. So these books that she wrote, they're like study guides and with prayers and
that's nice.
things to kind of help you along your mental health journey. So a lot of good things.
That's nice. Oh man, shout out to the Rankins. That's inspirational to hear everybody's accolades, that everybody's working and, doing this entertainment thing with excellence and as a family. Like, I think like back in the day, it didn't used to be a thing to do these type of things with your family. People were hiding their families. Now it's like it's a flex to be out here really doing this and really creating great things with your family. So blessings to y'all, really. Shout out to the Rankins.
I mean, the one thing we try to teach them when we talk about like building a brand and thing, right? Like we, as I said a bunch of times, we don't take for granted these opportunities to work with Disney and Sony and all of these amazing things. But what we're trying to teach them is that, while you're doing that, make sure that you're focusing on building something for you. Because at the end of the day, this is still somebody else's gift and vision that you're being a part of, which is a great opportunity. Don't lose the gratitude in that, but always be working towards something for yourself. And that's something I would encourage anybody else to do, is that while you're doing it, make sure you're building up what's for you, or else you'll find yourself, when we go through something like we just went through this big Hollywood strike, when it shuts down, that shuts down for you too. And now
Yeah.
you're waiting on somebody to open the door for you when you can be building one for yourself as well. So that's really important.
Yeah, that's so good. And somebody needed to hear you say that for sure. Just building your own thing. I heard Marlon Wayans say, when it wasn't until somebody told him no that he started to create his own thing. I'm assuming that no must have been like real life altering for him, because he said from then on he came up with his own production company and started producing his own
Mhm.
projects. And like, I was like, yeah, that's where it's at right there.
And in this field, you have to be okay with no, because you get a whole lot more rejection than you do acceptance. And
Yes.
sometimes people will see, well, oh, he's in the Lion King, or he has a TV show here. It was probably, hundreds of no's, and trying to stay encouraged and still
Yeah.
doing auditions before, that yes comes. So, you have to keep pushing and keep going and be okay with that no, when you're depending, like we say, depending on somebody else to open the door for you.
That's right. That's right. Right now, presently, I am operating off of a no. I know I don't look like what I've been through, but
Amen.
Lord, when, when
Yeah.
it's a no, it's like you have to just get on the other side of that thing
Mm.
and keep seeking your yes. So this
Yeah.
is me operating off of a no. I'm still going.
Don't you stop.
I'm still putting myself out there. Nobody's gonna stop me. So just keep going. Keep
Good for
going.
you.
Yeah. Now let's get back to the music.
Okay.
As an artist, what message do you want to spread? Like, what do you want
Mm.
people to get from your music when you're gone? What do you want your legacy to be?
Mm. That's a good question, and that's changed over the years, more so since I had a life change. And I'm not sure of your age, and I'm definitely gonna be telling on myself here. But when I first got into, I wasn't brought up in church or anything like that. I may have gone on occasion on a holiday or something like that, but it definitely wasn't something that was instilled in us. And I seen, I'm talking about the addictions and things like that in our household. And so my aspirations were different at the time. I was doing concerts with, I grew up in Cleveland, so I was doing shows with the likes of Bone Thugs and Harmony and Rap A Lot Mafia, which was, Scarface. And I was in the streets. So that was kind of, I had a different focus. Fast forward, uh, my life changes. I give my life to the Lord, and He just washes me, cleanses me in a whole nother way. So before, the aspirations was so that everybody can see me and say my name, and and scream my songs and those things. And as an artist, as a creative, right? Those things in themselves aren't bad, alone, as long as God is getting the glory, in all that you're doing. I don't think any of us get into this art form and whatever it is that we do that we love to not want somebody to say, "Man, I got something from that." Like, "Man,
Yeah.
that was dope. I like what you did," or "Man, I would love to be able to do whatever that thing is." Right? It's motivation, and it feels good. Like, man, that art is not just for me.
Yeah.
So what I look to get first is to spread the message of um, the gospel of Jesus Christ, that he saved me, he can save you. And my approach may be a little bit different, because I come from the streets, and God has given me a heart for the streets. So the way in which I communicate it is not going to be your typical, you may not even recognize is gospel until you really listen and it starts to penetrate. And then you say,
Uh-huh.
okay, he's talking about something different there. But I want it to be relatable to those that are lost. I don't think it would be beneficial for anybody if I only made music for the church. There definitely is some of that too, but um, our goal is to win souls, right? To take God's message unto the world, and I want to do that in a way that says, "Hey, God is dope too, in this gift that He gave us. I don't be slipping on what we can bring from the kingdom, even creatively in this rap game." And I am coming from that place, like I say, with Bone and Rap A Lot and Scarface and all those things. I think I bring something that can be appealing to those who's like, man, it's hard for me to turn away from that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the trends in Christian music, specifically Christian rap? It seems like it's really taken on a new life.
Yeah.
What are some of the trends that you've been noticing in Christian rap?
Well, I think now it's a time where it's being a little bit more accepted, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
and so people, there's been those like Lecrae and Andy Mineo, and who have songs that go platinum and things like that, and gold, I believe. So it opens up more people to like, hey man, I didn't realize that was a thing, that it existed, right? So it gives us an opportunity um to speak to an audience that we may not necessarily had their ear before.
Uh-huh.
So that's dope. And then on the flip side, one of the challenges I've had even when I first got saved is that it didn't really appeal to me because two things. Either it was way to the left and it was like, man, that's just so heavily bound that it's no earthly good. Like I don't even feel like I can be accepted by this guy that y'all talking about, because ain't nobody got no flaws, ain't nobody got no issues or challenges. So I'm thinking like, man, how can I even come into that with all of my baggage, right? And
Yeah.
then on the flip side, there's what is clear compromise, right? Where it's all about self glorification, self gratification, and even if it's not that on the record or what have you, then we have things being exposed, and not that we don't all fall short, right? But I think we definitely have to be accountable for what we practicing what we preach, so to speak. And
Yeah.
so for me, it's either been too far on one side or the other. And there are some guys that really are sticking strong to their guns, who are vulnerable, like like the Bizzles of the world, who I really love what he does, and KB. If anybody is familiar with those guys, who they're dope in their craft, and they hold strong in their convictions. And I think that's the balance that we want to have. Like I get it. You don't want to be cheesy and corny because ain't nobody trying to really hear that, right? And what you're doing, but you also don't want to be compromising, because it sends a false message of the God that we are supposed to be glorifying.
Yeah, yeah. You hit the nail on the head with that, because Christian artists are now really reinventing it. And if you don't listen closely, you really can't tell the difference in the music. But when the messages resonate with you, then you hear it and you're like, this is my life too. This is a part of my walk also. So I really appreciate Christian artists and what they're doing. Even my kids now will listen to Christian rap because of the different ways of providing those messages. And I that's cool to me, to have my kids to be able to engage, because when we were young, we weren't listening to that. We were listening to BB and CC, honey. Like
Yeah.
it was,
Well,
so
I get it, and that's good. So I mean, because if you came up with BB and CC, then you had some parents that were trying to steer you in that direction at a young age. Whereas for me, I was I had to be snatched out of the pit, because I was more so it was no BB and CC, it was NWA and Snoop Dogg, and so you know
yeah.
different walks, as long as we get to the same place, right?
That's right. That is the truth right there.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So your music video "No Shame" was filmed in Orlando.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process of getting to shoot? Because I'm sure you were doing all of that planning in
Mhm.
Atlanta. So tell me
Right.
a little bit about the process of getting to it, and maybe some behind the scenes things that we didn't see from your music video.
Right. So the thing about Orlando is I didn't specifically shout like Orlando as a location. So with me being here in Atlanta, the challenging thing in this creative family that I have is that my children and my wife, they're all in front of the camera. I'm the technical one. So I'm the one that, even for our, you see all the stuff behind us here. I'm in the studio now. Life and Legacy Media is our company. And so I'm always behind the camera shooting their headshots or doing their demo reels, or auditions, and putting together our independent projects and things like that. And so the challenge is that, man, I need somebody to shoot me. One, I don't trust everybody with my vision. Two, it's like when you have a large family, things are pricey and expensive and all that. So I'm like, who can I trust with my vision and also can afford at this time? And I remember I have a godson who lives there in Orlando, and he has a company, Oh Snap Creative Studios. And I said, hey, if I came down, I got this project. We don't have a whole lot of time, so trying to get my schedule with his schedule was a bit of a challenge. But he was like, "Hey, I'll shoot you, no problem. Come on down. We'll co-direct it, or I directed it. We'll co-produce it rather, and shoot it that way." So that's what brought me to Orlando, because it was more so like, "Hey, I needed to get there where my help was going to be at." Now,
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes, I do have a few videos that I put up on my social media pages. I'm not sure if we'll put those up here or not. But on my social media pages, I have a lot of the behind the scenes things that my daughter Brielle talking about traveling family. I said, Brielle, we leaving. We only had one day to shoot that video, by the way, the entire thing, just because of schedule. So anybody that films or works on a project, trying to shoot something in a day and have it at least look decent, professional, and get everything that you want to do is a major challenge. So my daughter Brielle, she was behind the scenes filming a lot of the footage and the creative process, and that's her thing as well. If anybody follows her TikTok, I don't know what it is, but Brielle Rankins, shouldn't be hard to find. She does an amazing job of telling the story of the process of creation.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So from your music video, what was sort of your favorite part about filming No Shame? Something
See,
that we don't know, something that we can't tell from just seeing that video. I'm looking for some behind the scenes
right.
exclusive about no, about that music video.
The favorite part would have been actually the brothers coming together. One of the things that you mentioned is the men. So
Yeah.
in that video, there's myself, and the only person that I knew outside of my godson was the one who he was playing like he was like this supposed to be like this kind of holistic figure. He was behind the driver's wheel all the time. You never see his face. And I did that more so to kind of give the image like here we are on this journey, and sometimes we don't realize who it is that's taking us from place to place. And you never get the full credit. It's supposed to be like the God figure, so to speak. So you never see him. That's one of my brothers who I mentioned before, like in my small circle. The other guys, my godson got, and I had never even met until that day. We talked. So we in the pre-production phase, of course, I kind of told them what the vision was and what it was I needed from them, and what my expectations were, what their ideas were, what their expectations were. We did a lot of that in the pre-production phase. But when we got there, that was the first time I ever met those guys, and I mean they killed it. So I mean, and
Yeah.
even my godson, I mean, he's in the back seat laying down because we're in the car. He's directing. So in the shots that we have driving around the street, we got the camera on the gimbal, stuck to the car, and he's in the back seat directing us with a screen, so we can't see him in the shot because it's literally a two-man show. We don't have an entire Hollywood crew, which you would normally have somebody out saying, "Okay, we got this." I can see. So he's literally bending down in the back seat with the screen, so we can't see him in the shot, but also, making sure that we getting everything that we need on it. That was a lot of fun. And then my daughter, she's in the other seat where you can't see her, holding her phone up so we can kind of capture all of it all. So it was just a lot of fun trying to pull it together, on in a pinch, with a shoestring budget, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Trust me, I know. And uh oh gosh, I lost my train of thought there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to I was gonna ask you a little bit about your team that helped bring this together, but you just said it. And
Yeah.
what was the name of your godson's company, and what's his name?
His name is Delshawn Green, and it's Old Snap Creative Studios there in Orlando. He does amazing photography work and music videos and things like that as well. For anybody in that area that's looking for some dope photography, I mean, he's working with, I believe, right before we left or during that time. One of the reasons We only had one day, is because even on that following day, he did a shoot with like an MLB player, I believe it was. So he's doing some great things in his own right. But Delshawn Green for Old Snap Creative Studios.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, shout out to Delshawn, right from Orlando.
Right, right.
That's where it's at.
And shout
Now,
out as well, Scott King, which is my brother. I mean, he sacrificed, he gave us his the facility, the locations, and I came. And this is not really his thing: filmmaking, entertainment. He does rap. He's done a couple projects. He's kind of stepped away from that lane. But I mean, he's just a brother, a great man of God and of service. So he was like, bro, whatever you need. All right, we're gonna find this school. We're gonna get that, and I'm here. So he's doing all those things. And
yeah.
we do it without him, as well as Malcolm Yosef, who plays the main guy who we see struggling through the video, who we're trying to lift up.
Okay. Well, you had your team, and they got you. They
Yeah, they
got
got
you.
it.
They had you. They had
Right.
you. So Thomas, where can people connect with you? How can we see more of your work, hear your music, and just learn more about you as an artist?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Twitter or X now, Facebook at The Answer Music, DA Answer Music, and you can connect with me on all of those, as well as YouTube, as far as if you want to see the videos or other projects we've worked on. Life and Legacy Media is our company, so a lot of things we'll put out. It'll either be between Life and Legacy Media and Truth Music Records. But if you follow my pages, I put everything on there that we're working on, even things with the kids or the Rankins family. If you want to kind of know about those projects as well, follow me at The Answer Music.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. And at this point where you are and where your family is, what can we do, the community, your fellow filmmaker community, to support you?
Mm,
What does that support look like? Because a long time ago I had a conversation about support, and I just find it to be a big thing in our
mm,
community, because some people say, okay, support me, or support that, but you're not really defining what that support looks like to you.
mm. That's
So
good.
everybody's definition is different. Supporting me 10 years ago looks different than supporting me now. So
Right.
if people hear you say it, then they know how to come at you.
That's good. That's a great point that you make too, Gabby. And I would say, if we have a project that you're able to get, to get it, go to iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen to music, and download it. I get it too, right? In this economy, people are struggling out here, so I understand that. So if it's something that you can't afford financially supporting, share the video. I mean, just about everybody has a social media page, so it takes nothing for you to do a retweet or share, like, hey, check this project out, and that goes a long way. So, and that's, we appreciate that. Go to the theater and check out the films that we're working on, or the projects that we have. We feel that support and that love, and most importantly, an encouraging word, right? If you go, if you check out the video, leave a comment, on YouTube, or if you went to the movie and see Mufasa or what have you, then go to the social media page and follow and say, hey, I checked that out, or I digged it, or even if you didn't dig it, I don't want you to say anything that's not true. Just say, man, I liked it, I didn't like it, but I love what you're doing, whatever the case may be. An encouraging word goes a long way.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And that support, you're doing it with your family, so you feel that. But some people are out here by themselves,
True.
and they have nobody. And just a kind message will set somebody free and could change somebody's day.
Yeah.
This conversation is definitely turning my day around. So I appreciate you, Thomas.
I
And
appreciate
we're looking forward to seeing you perform once again on Friday, Saturday night,
that.
Saturday at Dr. Phillips. We can see you perform No Shame. Are you performing any other songs there? Is No
Just
Shame?
that song. Just that song.
Okay. No Shame. Well, I'll be there. I'll be looking forward to watching you perform. And when you see me, stop by the red carpet and give me a word or two. Say what's up. It would be a
Definitely.
pleasure to meet you
And
in
you get to
person.
meet the family too. So the whole family's traveling. So we'll all make sure we stop by, which that's a blessing in and of itself, because I told you about the family struggles we were going through years ago. So to keep it short, we've all just been able to reconcile within the last year. So this will be the first time our entire family has traveled, me, my wife, and all of our children. has been together and traveled together in probably almost 8 years. So it's really going to be a special time and moment for me.
Yes.
We'll definitely make sure we stop by and say hello.
Yes, absolutely. Now, tell me what you're looking forward to about Orlando. Like, I know you've been here before, but what are you looking forward to this time about coming to this film festival?
You know what? I'm looking forward to. I love these festivals because there's so many creatives, right? You get to network with people who are, have similar aspirations, or even if they're not similar aspirations, they're just dope in their own right, and just that energy is always good. It's always something that you can leave with that can be motivating. Like, man, I want to push. Or I got that second win that I needed to see this thing through, right?
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to that, seeing a lot of the other projects, linking up with a lot of dope people like yourself, on the red carpet. That's always fun because in addition to the creative and the ministerial piece as well, right? Like I just like to throw a little something on. I do have a photo
Throw a
shoot as well, right? Throw a little something on, right?
little
To me, that's all part of art, right? Like, so I enjoy fashion, I enjoy music, I enjoy filmmaking, like all of that. So, in order to kind of step out a little bit and feel good, right? When you look good, you feel good. So, all our family be together and, um, you know, just be in that space will be really dope. And then, like I say, to have my kids with me, it's been all about them for the last maybe 5 or 6 years. So, this will be the first time they've seen me perform in quite a while. So, that'll be a treat for
so
me.
dope. That's so dope. And you get to just show up as that guy and be there with your family, them watching you do it.
Yeah.
That's inspiring in itself. So I hope people take away from that just what it is, a big old flex.
Amen.
That's that Holy Ghost flex.
Yeah.
So, Thomas, this has really been a great conversation. I appreciate your time and doing this with me and being a part of this movement with me too. This is just the beginning. And as far as life and legacy media, just tell me a little bit about what you guys offer. And I know that you mentioned your website, but I also want to know just kind of what you're building and what's next for you guys so that people can collaborate with you when in Atlanta.
Definitely. So Life and Legacy Media, as far as services we offer, is photography, cinematography. So, we can shoot, headshots for artists or business people or, families as well. Because our entire brand is about, when we talk about life and legacy. So we really stick on creating things that you can really leave behind, for those after, or something that somebody can look at and be like, man, that's more than a picture, or that's more than a video. It's meaty. There's something in there, legacy, right? So I think, just that, and hopefully, just enjoy it. We enjoy being around people, and we just enjoy helping them bring their visions to life and those types of things. So graphic designs, you got an album cover, a book cover, we could design that for you. If we say actors, models, dancers, we can shoot footage for you or edit your demo reels, pretty much anything creatively.
That's good. That y'all have that family structure, and y'all have the brand, y'all have everything you need to make this a go, to be successful in what you're doing. And that's where it's at, doing it for yourself. You don't have to wait for anybody to come in and do it for you. Y'all are just creating a legacy.
Amen.
Yeah. So one more time, Thomas, please tell everybody where they can connect with you at. I don't want to miss out on that.
Thank you. At my handle is at That Answer Music, DAANSWER Music, and that's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's the same across all of your platforms there, and lifeandlegacymedia.com if you're looking for any of those services that we talked about.
Okay, all right. And you can connect with me, Gabby Kennedy, at www.gabbykennedy.com or on Instagram at _Gabby Kennedy, as well as the other social medias. Look for Gabby Kennedy. So
Y'all check Gabby out. Gabby is dope, y'all. I love to see her. She's a more, like she say, she's doing her gift as well as taking care of her family and trying to bring forth, a positive, uplifting message, and doing a great job at it. Dope conversation. I didn't feel like we was sitting there with a paper up in front of us or anything like that. I feel like I've connected with you as well. and just having a conversation. So you're dope. And so y'all check her out and support Gabby as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And for other people, take note. It's because we've been in conversation. We've communicated prior to us getting here. So when I put in my email to give me a call first, this is what I mean. So that we can come into the flow and have a good conversation and really get some information out there. But if you don't call me, we just
you know what you're doing.
Yes. So again, y'all come out to the Orlando Urban Film Festival, find out more about the schedule, tickets, the events that are happening at OrlandoUFF.com. And you can find out exactly when Thomas is performing. Come out, meet and greet, and network with us. And until then, we'll see y'all in Orlando next weekend. So
definitely.
bye, everybody. See you later, Thomas. See you in Orlando, Thomas.
I'll see you, Gabby.
All right.